These are the 4 measures to calculate national income. First, let's understand GDP. What is GDP? GDP is gross domestic product. Gross domestic product. Gross domestic product is GDP. What is the definition of GDP? It is the total value of all final goods and services produced within the territory of a country. It is the total value of final goods and services produced within the territory of the country. Within the territory. It is a key term. Like this is world, this is India. Only those goods and services produced within this territory of the country is taken to calculate GDP. Any of the goods produced anywhere outside this territory not considered to calculate GDP. Even though it is sold out in the country, it is produced outside the country, it was not taken to consideration. If a good is produced in the country and sold out outside the territory of the country, it is taken to consideration. That is the difference between export and import. Here arises the key term net exports. Net exports is calculated to find out GDP. What is net exports? Exports minus imports. Exports minus imports. That is net exports. We find out net exports to calculate GDP. So that is relevant. GDP is the total value of final goods and services produced within the territory of a country. That is GDP. What is the definition, equation of GDP? It is GDP equals C plus I plus G plus NX. C plus I plus G plus NX. NX. What is C? Total consumption of households. Total consumption, money spent on household. I, investment done by the households. G, government expenditure. Government expenditure, like individuals, government has also expenditures. Government has also consumption, and also they are investing money in the economy. So those expenditure and investment of government is included in the G formula. Then NX, net exports, which is export minus import. So this is the equation of GDP. C plus I plus G plus NX. Consumption plus investment plus government expenditure plus net exports. Consumption of households plus investments of households plus government expenditure plus net exports. What is the relevance of C plus I? C plus I is consumption plus investment. If we get an amount of income, either we consume that or we save or invest it. So total money received by any households comes under these 2 items, consumption or investment. Then government expenditure, like I said, expenditure done by the government in the economy. Net exports, exports, money produced in the country and sold outside the territory of the country. Exports minus imports, goods produced outside the country but sold in within the territory of the country. So export minus imports, that is net exports. This is the definition of GDP, consumption plus investment plus government expenditure plus net exports. That is the equation of, not definition, equation of GDP. There are 2 classifications for GDP, nominal GDP and real GDP. Nominal GDP is the total value of goods and services produced in an economy at the current price. Real GDP is the total value of goods and services produced in an economy at the base price. That is the difference between nominal GDP and real GDP. Nominal GDP is calculated at current price. For example, when we calculate nominal GDP of 2090, we take the prices of 2090, commodity price of 2090 to calculate GDP. While we calculating real GDP of 2090, we calculate the base year's price. It may be 2012's or 2030's commodity price as commodity price to calculate GDP. That is the difference between nominal GDP and real GDP. Real GDP is calculated on base price. Base price. That is the difference. Let's look at an example. Assume that there is only one item in the economy. Only one item in the economy. The item may be a coffee. Only coffee produced in that economy. So the total quantity and the total value of coffee is the total GDP if only one item produced in that economy. In 2080, the quantity produced of coffee is, let's say, 5, and the price of 1 kg of coffee in 2080 is 5. In 2090, the quantity produced of coffee is 12 and price was increased to 6 from 5. So the nominal GDP of that economy in 2080, GDP is quantity into price, which is 10 into 5, which is 50, and nominal GDP in 2090 is 12 into 6, 72. Here increase in GDP is 50 to 72, maybe around 44% increase. 52 nominal GDP increased from 50 to 72 in 2080 to 2090. So here increase is 44%. But when we calculate real GDP, we does not take the current year's price. We take a base year price. It may be the commodity price of 2012. It may be 4. It is 4. It was 4. Then real GDP will be quantity produced same 10. Base year price 4. Quantity produced 12. Price 4. Same base year price is used. No difference in the price. So the real GDP is 10 into 4, 40 in 2080 and 48 in 2019. Here 20% increase in the GDP. So real GDP gives more clear picture of the economy. So it is more reliable. Real GDP is more reliable than nominal GDP because it does not takes into consideration the inflation, increase in inflation or currency fluctuations, etc. Real GDP is inflation adjusted. Real GDP is inflation adjusted. Nominal GDP does not adjust inflation. Nominal GDP is without adjusting inflation. That is the difference between nominal GDP and real GDP. So let's go into next measure.